So in today's video, I'm going to show you what it's like owning and maintaining a grip truck. So a lot of owning a grip and electric truck is the maintenance and the prep work and just the day-to-day stuff to keep all of your units and all of your grip gear working properly. And yeah, come along and I'll kind of show you what the day-to-day stuff is and kind of what it takes to maintain your gear and maybe prep for a shoot. So come join me. So on the agenda today, what are we gonna do? I need to clean the stingers. There was a short film shoot, a couple days. We used pretty much every single 50-foot stinger, and they all came back like covered in mud and all super dirty. So one thing today I'm gonna do is just go through and scrub all the stingers and just get them looking good, looking clean, get all the mud off of them, and get them ready for the next shoot. Also, looks like a bunch of stuff kind of shifted and rattled around when we were driving. So just make sure that everything's secure and back where it needs to go and nothing has broken. Just do like another inventory and just see that, make sure everything's in working order. Whoa, it's windy today. All right, so it doesn't look like too many things shifted around when we're driving. That's good. That's also something that I keep an eye on. It's just to see like what shifts, what moves, while we're driving in transit. And I don't want speed rail or square stock going flying or damaging any other lights or anything like that. For the most part, everything is strapped down with all these like really large straps, so the carts don't move. But there's definitely been times when I've come back and this flag cart was like completely flipped over because somebody forgot to strap it down, and we turned a corner and the whole flag cart went flying. Thankfully it's really well built and nothing got damaged, and all the flags are packaged up inside there so nice that nothing got really destroyed. But something that we try to keep an eye on. Definitely. One thing I like to do that I don't always have time to do during a shoot or while we're on set, sometimes it's late at night, you're tired, you just worked like 12 hours, 14 hours, whatever, and you don't have time to kind of clean up some of this stuff. I like to go through and just make sure that all the ends of the ratchet straps are kind of cleaned up. You can see this one has like a bunch of knots in it and everything. So there's a couple different ways I learned how to tie up the ratchet straps just from like looking at different stuff on Instagram actually. But one of my favorite ways is to just kind of roll it up sort of like this. I'll show you guys here. So you kind of just roll it until you get a bunch of the strap sort of like that. Keep going. Post. Essentially, you roll it up to where you get something that looks sort of like that, a loop in it, and then you just come along the side here, grab the tail, give yourself a little bit of room. And just bring the tail around a couple times to kind of tidy it up. And then on the last little loop, you bring it through, and then you use this part to kind of cinch it all together, and then it's a little bit nicer. On the last shoot that I was on, I kind of did my best to quickly just put some tape up here. I watched gaffer salon, and I always look in the background and I see his shelves that he has with all his lights, and I see that he just uses some tape and just a Sharpie and just kind of puts everything, you know, along on the side here, and just shows exactly what units he has and where everything kind of goes back. So I sort of did that on my head cart. This is pretty much all of the units that we own. This is our vortexes, our orbiters, everything's pretty much labeled pretty well, aside from our light mat, which is kind of up on the wall here. But the ballast and, you know, all of the lenses, orbiters, basically the whole thing is you want to just be able to tell somebody quickly, hey, go run to the truck or go run to the cart and get me an aperture 60x, and it's right here in front of where it should be. Or, hey, give me the 2L ballast. Here's the 2L ballast for the Spectrum, and it's all pretty much labeled and whatever. Eventually, I would love to get, you know, like a really nice big industrial label maker, but those are quite expensive. They're like $1,000 or so. So for now, I think, you know, gaffer tape is relatively inexpensive, and then just some Sharpie. And plus, it also changes quite often. So pulling off all those labels and redoing them could be quite kind of expensive, where just, you know, some gaffer tape and some marker is not really the biggest deal. Hopefully people can read my writing okay. I feel like it's been a pretty good system so far that I just started doing on this last short film. One thing that's super important, I know it sounds super simple, and I think that like everybody thinks to do this, but it's just do a count of all your stuff. Do a count of all your stands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I got 12 full-size C-stands and 2 of the 20-inch C-stands, and just to go through and just do a count and do an inventory. Okay, is this light here? Do I have all the stands? Did I leave anything behind? Do I have all my sandbags? And put also a number of how many stands should be on there, so that other people who are working off your truck can know, oh, all the stands aren't there. Just by looking at it, they do a count and they know that, oh man, this got left behind or whatever. That's super important. Okay, so the last shoot that I was on, they gave me a guy who doesn't really know what he was doing. They're like, oh, he's a grip. He knows how to grip. Every time he would grab a C-stand, he would take it like this, jam it into the ground, into the concrete, grind it all over the place, and then do like this to open up the legs. And then they would come apart, and he would had so many issues. And, you know, the pin would come out. And look, if you want to open up the C-stand, it's really simple. The way I always tell people is just put it on your shoulder, rotate it, and then you're good to go. Same thing if you're going to close it. Also, you don't need to break your back, you know? You don't need to lean over and hurt yourself. You can stay upright like this and just on your shoulder with the C-stand. And then if the C-stand is closed up, don't just take it and throw it down on the concrete. Put it back onto the C-stand cart. Or if it's open and you guys are still shooting, or maybe you're staged in a garage or something, then just soldier them all up, keep them upright and on the feet. But do not close them up like this and then throw them all over the concrete and scratch them all up and bend them all up. That's how they get destroyed. So if you want to keep your job as a grip or electrician, mostly a grip, you know, you want to make your gaffer, your key grip happy, don't destroy their gear. Learn how to open up a C-stand. Learn how to open up a combo stand so that you're not destroying their gear. And I guarantee they're going to call you back if you take care of their gear and take care of their stuff. I know that the grips and the people that I work with do their best to try to maintain my equipment and, you know, keep it in working order. And the people who destroy my gear and don't care about it, I don't call them back. I don't want to work with them. They make more work on the next day of me having to come in and repaint stuff or repair stuff, or if the T-handles are broken or missing. It's more work for me, so I don't want that, and I don't recommend you guys do that either. It's really a headache for a gaffer. Whoa, super windy. So why is it important to clean the stingers? Why is it important to wrap them up nicely at the end of each shoot? It's because people are paying for this package, and I want to give them the best. You know, I don't want their stuff to come out and have the stingers have tape all over them and gunk and mud and not be working and be frayed and damaged. This gear is very expensive, and I think a lot of times when a PA or sometimes even a grip or producer is on set, they don't realize what it takes to maintain this gear and how much work goes into all of it. I'm just taking some soap and water and just going over the whole stinger with the soap and water right now on this towel. I don't want to make this video sound like I'm complaining, because I'm definitely not. I love what I do, and having a package like this is awesome. It definitely just takes a lot of work. I know a lot of people who really get into this and they want to be on set all the time, and then they get a business like this that requires a ton of maintenance, and then they have to hire people to do all this, you know, day-to-day kind of stuff. They end up never going to set anymore, not shooting anything, not really doing anything, you know. And if just running a business is really what you want to do, I guess that's a great goal to have. But if your goal is to be a key grip or a gaffer or a cinematographer or whatever you're doing in the film industry, I think doing that specific thing is what's going to bring you the most joy, rather than, you know, charging up your batteries every day and cleaning your stingers. So what I've noticed is that these shows are getting smaller and smaller, budgets are getting smaller and smaller, crews are getting smaller and smaller, and you know, you might have an experienced gaffer, you might have experienced key grip, but then the production wants to give you a PA or a swing who maybe doesn't know what they're doing, and usually it's like, oh, that's great, extra help. But having that person who doesn't know what they're doing can sometimes cause more issues and more time and things getting broken. And sometimes it's better just to have the two people who know what they're doing, rather than that extra person that you need to train and teach them, oh, do this and that. Because then you spend more time training the person than you do actually, you know, lighting the shoot. And you're correcting their mistakes all the time instead of actually, you know, setting things up correctly the first time. And it's like, oh, it's a good learning experience. And I got nothing against teaching people and showing them the right way to do things, but not on set. I know a lot, you know, it's like, oh, on set experience, that's the best way to learn. I guess so. Maybe not in you know, the most like stressful environments, if it's like low pressure. But if it's a job and I'm making full rate and we don't have a lot of time, you never have a lot of time, never enough money, never enough time. So when is a good time to learn? Maybe you should learn how to wrap a stinger or close a C-stand on your own time, so that when you show up to set, you're not a burden on other people. You know, and it's like, I don't mind showing you how to wrap a stinger at the end of the day or close a C-stand, but it's going to slow me down having to give you a tutorial every time. I feel like a lot of people are generalists nowadays, and they're do camera, they do a little bit of this, a little bit of editing, and I really just gravitate toward those grips and electricians who really, this is what they do every day, and they're really good at it, and they know how to wrap a stinger the proper size so it fits into a milk crate. So I was looking through the light matte ballast I have here, and I actually realized that it's broken from the last shoot. I'm not quite sure what happened, but this little piece right here snapped off and is broken. So something that needs to get fixed or replaced. But yeah, this little piece should go in here like this, but somehow snapped off. This is basically like a Mayfer clamp that Light Gear makes, but somehow got damaged. So I don't know, I either have to replace that or fix that. But you know, if I never came to the truck and checked things out, I would have never even noticed that that was broken. And then I would have went on to another shoot and been trying to attach the ballast to a stand or something and realized that it's damaged. Another thing to keep things from getting damaged is I use these Harbor Freight, like they're basically like a rip-off Pelican case. I think it's, what's the brand that makes these? I'll put a link to them in the description, but it's Harbor Freight. And yeah, they make like these pretty good like pick and pluck sort of foam cases, and they're really good for protecting your gear, and they're a lot more affordable than like a Pelican case. Another thing I'm doing is just like adding stickers to the stands, adding stickers to the ladder, to the generator, just making sure that everything is labeled, like everything, anything that can be lost or left behind is labeled. That's super huge, so that just from a glance people can see what gear belongs to us. Well guys, I'm just about done with what I needed to do. That's about all I have for today's video. Hopefully I didn't discourage anybody from, owning their own grip truck or, getting a lighting package together. It is awesome. It just takes a lot of work. Just like anything that's worth having, it takes work. And I think a lot of people don't really appreciate how much time and effort goes into it. Anyways, guys, that's kind of all I have for you today. Once again, thanks for watching. I'm Scott Stevenson. Feel free to check out my past videos as well as subscribe to see my future ones. Peace.